Okay, let's call the group to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Mr. Harshaw? Here. Ms. Barhu? Mr. George?
Here.
Mr. Betts?
Here.
Ms. Bowler? Mr. Connors?
Here. And introduction of city staff. So we have Ben as our attorney, Missy as our staff assistant, and Ms. Groom that's doing the minutes, right?
Right.
So would everyone take a look at the minutes of August 18th? Should be in your packet. Do I have a motion for approval of the August 18th minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of August 18, 2022.
Second.
Anything else? So it passes.
We have to actually take the vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to abstain. I wasn't on the board then, so
Right.
I have no idea if they're correct or not.
So
Is that
we
a-
only have 3 people.
That's 3. on the-
Oh, here's,
Unless you need me to vote.
You have to vote. There's not a basis for abstaining.
Okay, yes,
So your vote is yes?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let the record reflect that Ms. Barhu's now here as well.
Yes, and I will wait and see if Ms. Barhu would also approve the minutes.
do you have a copy?
Hey there.
Aye. Thank you.
Hey, are you okay with the August 18th, 22 minutes?
Oh, yes, I already looked them over.
Okay,
Yes.
so with that action, I guess we can start by our first case.
Ready?
First case ready to be reviewed?
BOA 2022-017, variance from Article 4, Section 42B3. A request by George Symington for a variance from Article 4, Section 42B3 of the Land Development Code to reduce the minimum required rear property line setback for an accessory structure over 200 square feet from 25 feet to 10 feet. This will allow for the construction of a 588 square foot detached garage. Property is located at 928 Benicia Avenue, parcel ID 523909000240.
Is anyone here to discuss this? I'm George. You want to step up, George, and give your address, your name and address, please? And tell us about this project?
It's George Symington, 928 Benicia, Daytona Beach. I'm just looking to reduce the setback, because if I do 31-foot long garage with a 25-foot, it puts me into my driveway and about a foot off my house.
Anybody have any questions?
I do. Do you mind, Chairman?
Please.
From what I can see here, we're going to build a garage that's 31 feet long.
Yes, 18 by 31.
Okay. Pretty long, pretty big. So I was out at your property. You got a great house.
Okay, thank you.
Love your log look.
Well, then you saw the garage, it is in the back.
I saw the garage in back. He looks a little weak.
Yes.
I guess my question is, it's a pretty substantial garage.
Pardon me?
It's a substantial
okay.
garage. 31 feet for a garage is really, really long. So my question is, you also have a truck and a utility trailer. Is that a motorcycle trailer or
Yes.
something that you have there? Yeah. What's the intention of the garage? What are you going to put in
Well,
there?
I have 2 motorcycles,
Okay.
my toolboxes, radial arm saws, table saw. It's just all my home working stuff. Not going to be a business or anything.
Okay, so your motorcycle trailer is still going to stay in the driveway?
In the driveway, or I'll put it on the side, on the other side of the house.
Okay. Obviously, the existing structure, the, whatever, I guess you call it a lean-to or whatever it is, that will be destroyed. Is the shed going to stay on the property as well? The kind of a, what is it, like a purpley?
Yeah, that one's going to stay. That was the previous owner put that there. He was raising dogs.
Okay,
The property used to be a lot bigger, and that garage was built, and then the people that owned that house originally got divorced. They separated the property. Now the property line goes down the middle of that garage, or 2/3 of it is on my side.
so the property to the north of you,
Also has,
that was part of your property at one point?
yes.
Okay, gotcha. Because don't they have a shed that's like,
Yeah, he's got another shed also, yeah.
yeah, that's like right up against the fence too?
That's the other half of my garage.
That's the other half of your garage.
There's a wall down the middle.
Okay, so is that shed going to get torn down?
He wants to keep it. But there's a wall in there. I'm going to dismantle all my side. And he's even asked if he could keep the steel sheathing off the roof or fixing his.
So how are you going to integrate that? Because doesn't that shed kind of go, when I was out there at the property?
Well, the property line is, where that fence line is about 3 feet to the north.
Yep,
So I'm still going to be 10 foot off of the property line, but I'll be 6 feet off of the old piece of his garage with the side of mine.
okay, all right. I was also noticing in here, it looks like you want to build a metal structure.
Yes.
Okay. I'll let you know, I'm not a real big fan of big metal garages.
Well, it's got horizontal siding, so it's going to look like the logs, and I'm using the same colors.
Yeah, I was looking, the depiction that you have in the packet,
It's very generic, yeah.
that's a shed. That's not a 31-foot garage.
No, that's the only picture they would give you, and you have to dimension it, and so it's going to have the door in the front like that, the entrance door there, and a double window in the middle also.
Okay. Yeah, I guess when I look at the land development code, the idea is that the garage or the accessory structure should look similar to the house. Now, I know that in looking at yours, as I thought about it, I thought, okay, how's he going to make it look like his log house, which
Yeah.
would be difficult. I will just tell you that we just had one of these 2 months ago, and, you know, I was opposed to it because we're trying to because it's an inexpensive way to build a big structure. And I'm opposed to it because, to me, metal sheds or metal garages look very industrial. And in your neighborhood, sitting beside your log cabin, it doesn't feel like the right look. And our job here, when we're going into a variance, we're going into property lines, we're putting it closer to other people's property, and it should aesthetically look nice. And I will tell you that I do have issues with big metal.
Well, there's another one on the opposite corner of my yard. That's only 8 feet off of my property.
I understand that. And my job is not to have more of them.
Right.
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So anyway, those are my thoughts when I was looking at it.
Other questions?
No.
I just would like some clarity, so I understand. The idea of the shed that's depicted in your photographs here is this half, what I see in, I'm referring to this
Right.
photograph. That part of the shed and the lean-to is going to be removed?
Yes.
Okay. So the shed on the other side of the fence?
He wants to keep
someone
his.
else's, right?
He wants to keep his half.
Okay. And so the concept of looking at your drawings is that your buffer zone, the concept of putting your garage is, for visual, is taking up the lean-to side is where the garage will go in. The side of the purple, is that purple doors will be gone.
The purple shed will still be there. Oh, no, those doors will be gone, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
And that
I'm
will
sorry.
just be a clearway
Yes.
fence. Okay. And the shed, or the garage, I'm sorry. The garage, the material of the garage is trying to match your house is you're going to be, the sides are cocoa color?
Right. Cedar-colored roof and tan trim.
Any other questions?
My only question is, by removing only part of that shed, are you creating a legal non-conforming issue for the other side? Is that going to be of an issue with the other side of that shed remaining? There's a wall there, is what I'm guessing? Sir, you said there's a wall there
A
in that
wall?
shed where-
There's a wall in the middle, yes.
in the middle?
Yes,
Like where the property line is?
close to it, yeah.
Well, is that
It'll
on
be,
your
it'll
side?
be,
or-
probably, that wall will still be inside my property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's still a crossover of the property line from the
Yes.
existing structure?
Yes.
Missy, if you don't
Yeah,
mind,
I got a problem with that.
what's the side setback for an accessory structure in his situation?
For an accessory structure, less than 200 square feet or less would be 7.5 feet. For 200 or more, it's going to be for his lot, because his lot is wide, it's greater than 60, his lot would be 10 feet on the side.
And what will his side setback be with this?
He
Sure.
wasn't requesting a reduction.
Right, that's
No,
Right, he's going to meet the side.
So he's going to have 10 feet?
10 feet off my property line on the
10
side,
feet
yes.
off the fence line, probably?
Yes, off the property line.
Okay. And then the back is where we're going into, he's supposed to have 25 feet, but
Correct.
he wants to put it at 10 feet. So he'll be 10 feet on the side and 10 feet in the back, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the other question that I have, and you know we've talked about this before in prior meetings. Again, the code says if you have correct me if I'm wrong, accessory structure has to aesthetically look like the house if it's greater than 200 square feet, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now how does the city define that? Now, obviously, if it looks like his house, he has a log cabin. To try to build a log cabin garage would be very interesting and very expensive. But what is the definition? Maybe, Ben, this is maybe closer to you, is how do you match or what, I guess the question is, what does that mean? Similar materials, similar,
I
what are we
need to
talking about?
research that and get, I don't have the answer to that offhand.
The way the code reads is it must have the same or similar exterior finish and roof design as the principal building on the site.
Which this one does not, because it is a metal building with a metal roof, right?
Same color as the roof on the building, on the house.
Your house has a asphalt shingle roof?
Yes, cedar colored,
Okay.
That's why I went with the cedar
This one has
colored.
a metal roof.
yes.
So it's not the same roof, nor is it the same walls.
Yeah, the code reads same or similar.
And I can tell you the word similar is not going to be defined.
Right.
And I can't tell you how staff would typically interpret that. That would be a staff question.
Yeah, and again, I just have a problem. We're starting to see more and more of these as these metal structures are being put up because they're less expensive. They don't match the houses, and I just, aesthetically, it doesn't look the same. How tall is the garage?
The corner's only going to be 8 feet off the,
What's the peak?
won't be, probably 12 or 13, something like that.
So you're gonna have a 12 or 13-foot peak. How tall are the ceilings in the garage? Will it have a ceiling, or
No.
is it just gonna be a
It'll be open beam
just a
inside.
metal open beam?
Approximately the same size as the existing shed that's there now, the height,
It may be just a hair taller.
the new one?
Yeah, because that's pretty flat roof on that one. That's there now.
Question for you, would you be willing to go with a smaller size garage?
I could, it's gonna be tight to get all my stuff in there, that's all. I came from a 30 by 40
Where you previously lived?
in New Jersey, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the roof of both buildings, your house and the new garage, is the same color?
That's what I'm-
But not the same texture?
That's what I'm going for, yes. And the sides will be wood colored, the cocoa brown.
So it won't look like a warehouse?
I'm hoping it doesn't, yeah. I go plant trees around it too.
Have a picture of what it's gonna look
Yeah.
like that you can present?
Yeah, well, the siding is horizontal, it's corrugated, but it's horizontal.
Okay.
The same plane as the logs. You know,
Does the company that have you talked to the company that you're dealing with that's going to put?
I'm dealing through Daytona Sheds over here and they have another company that does the metal buildings.
Would you be willing to talk to them about possibly some sort of siding you could put on it that would maybe get closer than corrugated metal?
They do have like T111, but it's got vertical siding
That's
instead of,
vertical, yeah.
yeah. I guess it could be put on sideways. I could find out.
I just noticing in the picture, your shed right now and lean-to has a steel roof.
Yes,
And you bought the house with that
yes,
there.
yes.
You have any idea how old that is?
House, I think, was built in 79, 78, something like that. I imagine it's probably about the same age.
Okay.
It's pretty wore out.
Yes.
It's worn, for sure.
Missy, does the current shed does it comply?
The current shed, no.
No, because it's in the setbacks, right? So somebody put that shed in at some point and didn't comply to the code?
And the code may have been different when it was put in. We don't know that.
Okay.
And like he said, I think the lots were combined with his lot and the neighbor's lot were combined as one lot. And then when the couple divorced, they split it.
They just put a fence through the middle?
What I see as a solution maybe to your design problem might be utilizing a concrete board,
The hardy
4x8 board,
The hardy boards?
Hardy board?
hardy board with a board and batten look. And that accomplishes, it's going to be a little more expensive than your metal siding, but that accomplishes what an outbuilding would look like, a better.
I would agree.
Better design, sort of like a barn.
Right.
They might satisfy and then paint the same color, it'd look really good to your house. It'd be a consideration for that. I'm still struggling with this shed that's over the property line issue, because we want to clean up any problems with properties as they come in for things like variances or whatever. And you're still going to have an encroachment there. And there's probably no dedicated easement for that encroachment, which technically, if you want to have a clear property title, that would, end up wanting to have that.
Well, he's looking to sell the house real soon anyway. New owner,
They are?
take it down, yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're going to have a problem with an encroachment then, without an easement.
Maybe Henry will convince them to take it down.
Because there could be some existing sheds going to stay over your property line.
Right now, yeah.
Is that correct?
They're not going to be able to,
Right, without an easement, so,
well, I'm not the attorney.
right.
He was able to buy his house recently. How long have you had this house?
We just moved in a month ago.
Yeah, so they were able to sell and buy with it, not any issue.
Well, something slipped by then.
Before I ask the group for a vote, what I hear is that there's some suggestions that would more likely get this through our board here. Would you be willing to postpone us looking at this and voting on that at this time and coming back to us? I know it's another month, but coming back to us with what you've checked out or looked at and see what you could or couldn't do to be more in compliance to what the
Certainly.
ideas are?
Certainly.
Okay. What do I have to do now? I'm
Well,
new at this job.
You could ask the board whether they want to consider a continuance
Okay.
to allow the gentleman to modify
His request.
the request.
Yeah.
With regard, I think, it sounds like to the materials used.
And if I could suggest maybe coming back with maybe a better rendition of what it's going to look like, because the rendition you have in here
Yeah.
is not what your shed's going to look
No,
like.
that's the only thing
You just
had.
worked off a stock photo off of
Yeah, that's-
Getty Images. or
Yes, the
whatever.
only thing they had, no, yeah.
Right, maybe coming back with actually having somebody draw up, okay, this is what the shed's gonna look like, this is gonna be the dimension of the shed, this is the roof style, this is the, let's say it's hardy board, concrete siding, et cetera. Just a thought.
Certainly.
So I'm asking the board, would you consider a continuance?
You're asking for a motion to continue
Right, okay. Asking for a motion for continuance,
to the next meeting.
right?
Yeah, I'll make a motion then regarding case A, BOA 2022-017, that be postponed until the next meeting so that the applicant can provide more information regarding the application.
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call,
I didn't
please.
hear a second.
Second.
Oh,
A second.
you're right. We didn't hear a second.
Ms. Barber?
Yes.
Okay, roll call.
Now roll call.
Okay. Mr. Harshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Barhu?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Betts?
Yes.
Mr. Connors?
Yes.
We'll see you again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your patience.
Appreciate you looking at that.
Okay, and as we move on, we have case B.
BOA 2022-018, variances from Article 4 and 6. A request by the Land Development Resource Group on behalf of Crossroads of Daytona LLC for multiple variances from Article 4, Section 47W and 6, Sections 62, 64, and 615 of the Land Development Code to reduce requirements for zoning, parking, and landscape standards. This will allow for the development of a 7-space parking lot. Property is located at 110 Jean Street, parcel ID 523905230010.
And,
Hi,
hi,
Colleen Miles, Land Development Resource Group, on behalf of the applicant Crossroads Daytona LLC.
okay. So please share with us what you would like to do.
Very small lot, just south of Jean Street, and the property owner purchased it with the billboard on it and would like to develop it into public parking for the area. It's permitted use, but we're extremely constrained. There's not much else you can do with the lot. It's really small.
Okay.
So we've gone through site plan review, and speaking with staff, highest and best use is going to be parking because, as I say, it's this big. But we've maximized landscaping, upsized the count and sizing of what we can get in there. And with staff's help, I hope you'll concur.
Okay. So, question is, you have a lot that's unusable for anything.
Correct.
And the concept is, well, let's put additional public parking in there?
Yes, sir.
Free public parking?
Free.
Okay. And that's
7 whole spots.
7 whole spots?
We're making it.
With the handicap. I see.
Correct, and we are providing, which I don't know if you have the design, there's a access way that'll come out to a sidewalk that's going to run along Jean Street for the length of our property only because there's no sidewalks on Jean Street.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Okay? I knew you would.
Yes. Okay. So from what I drove out there, as you know, I always do.
Yes, I know.
It is,
And my sign survived the storm. I can't even believe it.
it is currently a gravel parking lot. It even has a arrow towing sign on the fence.
Correct.
So people obviously have been parking there. The gentleman that you're representing owns Amscott?
I'm working for the person who owns this property.
Okay. So I'm looking at it and I had some questions because I was concerned, okay, number one, having a parking lot there,
Correct?
I was like, okay, it doesn't seem to be a problem area like downtown when it comes to parking. So the
It
question.
really is, by the way. I mean, honestly. Even for the gas station, the Marathon or whatever it is.
Yeah, the gas station beside it. yeah.
It gets packed. I mean, you have everybody at the pump and everybody in front of the store portion of it.
Okay. The question, well, I probably is more directed to Ms. Phillips and Mr. Gross, is we have a non-conforming, very large billboard on the property, which I know that the current owner is getting probably large sums of money for having the billboard and leasing the property to the billboard. It is non-conforming, and my question is, why is it non-conforming first?
So billboards are not permitted in redevelopment districts. This property is in a redevelopment district.
Okay?
It may also be non-conforming with regard to a separate provision that requires billboards to be on major arterial roads. I don't know what the distance limitation is offhand, but this is in the Midtown redevelopment area. And so it's not conforming for that reason.
My concern is if we approve this variance and turn it into a parking lot, did we just approve a non-conforming billboard that if a hurricane tore that large billboard down, they would be able to rebuild it exactly the way it is now and still have a non-conforming billboard on that property?
That isn't part of their request. They haven't requested a variance from the section of the Land Development Code 610J2, which contains that prohibition that I just mentioned to you. Even if they had, you could certainly deny that part of the variance.
Hate to jump in, Ben, sorry. You can't get
Go.
a variance for a prohibited use, meaning that I couldn't get it's like I've done this before. You couldn't get a variance for the billboard because it's prohibited.
Well, yeah.
And then,
except
then I also can't have signage on site because I have an illegal sign, and I'm not asking for signage, but I now defer to Ben.
Yeah, so a billboard is a structure on a property, not a use. So it's just more fuel on the fire. It's not, nothing that you do would be serving to permit the billboard, although if the billboard weren't there, that would gain them a parking space that might reduce their need for the variance, which you might determine relates to the review criteria for the variance.
Okay. Can we put specifically in the language that this does not apply to the billboard in the variance so that there's never a question in the future?
Sure.
We can't, correct?
Yep.
Okay, then I would like to suggest some sort of wording that if we do approve this, that it has nothing to do with the billboard on the property that is
Well, I'll help you
non-conforming.
craft the motion, Mr. Harshaw, when.
Okay, when we're ready.
When if you
Good.
decide you're going to craft the motion.
Thank you.
Other questions?
So this property owner is the same property owner that owns the Amscott, is that correct?
Okay, I'm not sure. I'm representing Kraus Roads for this property.
Which
This
is the
is just
property,
public
which,
parking for, you want to park there? You can park there, sir. Just no overnight parking. And those would be, the only signs would be relative to towing and no overnight parking. It's not like Bob's Lot or anything like that. There won't be signage on the property other than limiting your ability to camp overnight or whatever. If you're bad, you're towed away, whatever.
Okay.
In this rendering that I'm looking at, would you please help me, show me exactly where is that billboard?
See the big white space
Yes,
right there? It's in that spot.
okay.
It's a big,
you look at the survey, it's
it's
on the
just a big
survey.
post and goes up into that massive billboard.
And that's all being landscaped as well. I don't know if that helps you at all, but we are doing landscaping.
And if you remove that billboard, you would have more parking.
There's not a minimum number of parking spaces. The billboard won't be removed. Sorry,
Will or will not?
will not.
Anyone else have any questions?
Trey's thinking.
So you're going to do a sidewalk
Just the length.
along Jane Street on this property,
Yes, sir.
but not, so it doesn't lead to any other sidewalk to the either
North or
side?
south. No, we're hoping that soon it'll be in the sidewalk plan. At one time, the city did have a sidewalk fund that money could be given to allocate to where they're doing sidewalks, but from what I understand, that's been done away with. So we're constructing it just on our property. 5 feet wide, compliant with ADA and the standards for public works.
So the handicap parking space is leading to a handicap accessible route to the sidewalk.
Correct? It doesn't go anywhere. Yes, sir.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Yes, sir.
Sidewalk will run to International?
No, sir.
No.
It's the length of my property.
Oh,
Just this property.
interesting.
Hmm?
The parking lot is asphalt or concrete?
It will be one of those compliant with the draw, well, you have actually a site plan included in your packet. So whatever the surface material is called out, it's probably asphalt, if I was going to guess, with concrete curbing and apron. It's going to be really small. I'm sorry. I could whip out a big one if you'd like. That didn't sound really good. Sorry.
What does it say?
It says, you're going to make me get the big one.
I'm going to make you look, Colleen.
Okay, no worries. I'll get the meaty size.
It's required to be concrete,
Oh, there you go.
asphalt.
Concrete or asphalt, hold on.
Okay, so it's
It has to be a solid bonded surface.
Curb stops or curbing all the way around?
Curbing,
Yeah, that
and you can see the curbing on there, and it looks like it's asphalt to me, but I could be lying. Proposed asphalt parking.
There we go.
It says that.
With concrete curbs.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no additional questions.
Anyone
Surprise.
here? Doesn't look like it.
Well, just for the record, Mr. Chair, there's nobody in the audience to speak for or against.
Okay. Can we entertain a motion?
I would like to entertain a motion with some legal about the billboard.
Is you're gonna make a motion?
Motion to approve with the caveat on the,
That nothing in the motion, if granted, would serve to render the billboard a conforming billboard.
correct.
Okay.
And I have a second.
Second.
Ms. Groom, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Harshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Barho?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Betts?
Yes.
Mr. Connors?
Yes.
Thank you, I appreciate y'all's time. Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Given.
So before we take a motion to leave, I guess the question came up, now it's been 3-4 months ago, about moving the meeting time. And Marja sent out an email, I'm not sure if everyone got it, but I
Yeah.
assumed, with the idea, her concept is maintaining it on Thursday, but starting it earlier, and I think she suggested like a 9:30 start time. Is there anyone else, does anyone else have a different idea or a different approach?
I can't come in the morning.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wasn't your comment on your email that you sit on another board on Thursdays?
Oh, yeah, ELC, Early Learning Coalition Board
Okay,
in the morning.
okay. And then,
Doesn't matter to me,
okay,
so, I mean, I prefer one. I just think more people will come at one. If there's people that, on lunch breaks or something, the general public would have the opportunity to come easier at 1 than 9:30.
yeah, I've been on the board since '03, and most of my work is in the southern part of the county. So a lot of times I run down to the southern part of the county, start work, get everybody where they need to be, and then I leave around 10 o'clock. I then go look at properties, have a quick lunch, and then show up for the meeting at 1. So I don't have a problem with the mornings, but yet Ms. Barhu cannot be here in the morning, so that's a problem. The only problem I had with a later afternoon is if we wind up, and there have been times in my past where we, let's say we have 5, 6 cases.
Right,
If we start at 4:30, we could be here for
8 o'clock at night.
that's correct. Not that it happens a lot on this one, but it does on other boards. They can be well into the evening. So, again, I've been on the board since 2003, and it works for me. I mean, it's a lot of driving on that day and a lot of moving around for me, but usually a lot of times I break out of here at 1:30, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then I head either back to the southern part of the county or whatever the case is for work. So. I don't have any problem. If we keep it the same, I'm fine. If we make it a little bit later in the day, I'm fine. I could do it in the morning, but Ms. Barhu can't do it in the morning, so.
We already have one of our members that can't do it in the morning, so I guess I was part of this discussion, starting this discussion. And the reason that I threw this out there is because we were seemed to be having difficulty getting more members. And then there's some changes to the regs, so that helped us out. But I guess, for me, it doesn't matter. I'm retired. So
So you'll be there.
yeah,
Okay.
whatever. I am more concerned with our future and with the idea of recruiting people to join this illustrious group. So the idea of, as when I used to work, I would have been opposed, quite frankly, to coming out in the middle of the day and carving out my day. I just wouldn't do it. And so I guess that's why the suggestion came. Now, if it's not that great of an issue, I'm not stomping my feet and saying, let's do something, but even if we started it at like, instead of 1, at 2:30, at least those folks that are working folks would have the ability to work, from the 8:30 or whatever time of day until 2:30, and then come, and not necessarily plan on returning to the job. But if they could, they could. If you were done, like we're done today, if we didn't talk about this, you'd be done and out of here. You could go back to work, depending upon how far of the travel it is. But anyway, that was part of the conversation that started this. And Eddie,
Well, not putting Ms. Barhu on the spot, I know that sometimes when you show up for the meeting, sometimes you can be 10 or 15 minutes late. Are you
Right.
running into a 1 o'clock problem?
Because
Would
I have
2
to wait
o'clock?
for relief at the hospital, and sometime with the doctors and stuff, they come back a little bit later than what they supposed to. So honestly, come January, that's gonna change, because I'm gonna be in a different department.
Okay.
So January, I shouldn't be running a few minutes late. But the problem is I have to wait for the doctors to return to the floor in order for me to leave. And they don't always come on time.
I don't see an issue with,
So it puts me like maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
yeah,
late
because you're always,
time.
yeah, because I always notice you're kind of rushing in here, and I think,
Go to 1:30. I don't know if that was the regular one for a loop.
like a 2 or something like
Yeah.
that. And then a
Yeah.
2 wouldn't put us too late.
Right.
But again, it's still in the middle of the day. Have you, Ms. Phillips, have you talked to anybody about possibly coming on the board where you've kind of because we've been trying to get people on this board for a while.
I have not.
And we just, is it a 1 o'clock thing? They're like, look, I'm self-employed, okay, so I can leave. The problem is like one of my employees, if they were on this board, they couldn't do this.
I have not had anybody even mention it to me. A lot of people, because I'm down in the building department, we have an open lobby, and I mentioned it to a lot of people, oh, where do you live? You want to be on the board? And they're like, nope, not interested.
Takes a special kind of person to.
Very civic-minded.
how about, let me suggest this.
Okay.
What if, the idea being is let's say move the meeting till 2 o'clock start time,
Okay.
and try it for a quarter, 3 months, and see how that plays out for those of us on the board.
Right.
And then if that has any help with speaking to anybody about joining the board. As let's say, an experiment, and seeing if it helps or hurts or changes anything.
Okay, so before we do that, Mr. Gross, Ms. Phillips, how does that affect your schedules?
I do have to put the schedule out, like I should have put it out 2 months ago. We were kind of waiting to figure out what was going to change here, and that goes for the whole year. He says it's not a legal issue, so I think it might just be a matter of me just changing the schedule if it doesn't work out, but I would have to verify that with maybe the city clerk first.
Do either of you have, or even you, Ms. Groom, do you have conflicts if we were to start at a later time, like 3 o'clock? What time do you all typically leave here?
Don't look at me.
Oh, I'm looking at you.
I know like today.
I mean,
the
do
planning
you
board-
all,
I
like, is
have
it
a
4
very
o'clock?
I have a
So-
very flexible schedule.
like around
Yeah, that's the
holiday
issue
time. They
too.
put
We
it
could get
this
involved.
Thursday.
The problem you're going to have is if you meet on the same day as the planning board.
They
Because
will
the
be
planning
meeting
board
later
is here at
today.
6.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this Thursday is their meeting.
Yeah.
Because
Are
of
they,
the
are they
holiday.
always, they're not always.
Holiday.
At-
They're meeting today.
They
Is this
meet the
the fourth
third Thursday?
Thursday? This
Yes.
It's
is
the
the
third Thursday.
so
Third
they-
Thursday.
You know, it's my
They are
meeting, I
meeting
should know,
today
but,
Because
right.
of the holiday.
You
My
should
husband's
probably
on the
know.
planning board. They're coming here at
Oh,
5
they are
today.
meeting
Yes.
today? Okay, yeah,
And
it's
I
not a
think
regular.
December, they're gonna be meeting the third Thursday, whatever. They flipping because of the holiday.
Okay.
When the holiday come around, they come to the third Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going into the meeting tonight. I should have remembered it's the third Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a
it's the third
Thanksgiving.
Thursday. You got a meeting later.
Yeah.
I looked at the
Ben, you might want to look at your notes.
Check your calendar.
At the meeting day.
You leave here at 4 o'clock?
normally 4:30.
Okay. Typically you,
I stay later.
I work half.
You never
days, so
leave.
it doesn't matter.
Gotta
you work half days?
Yes, so it doesn't matter. Whatever time you schedule it, I will be.
Okay, all right, because I want to consider everybody, because y'all are part of the board. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to make it 2, if that's the thoughts. David, does that affect you at all? No?
No, I'm retired too.
Okay.
I'm fine either way. It just, I don't want it
Same,
to run,
yeah,
us to
yeah.
run into long time and then staff is staying later or we run into another meeting time that we have to stop and they gotta meet.
This Thursday is usually wide open.
Yeah.
We're usually the only meeting on the third Thursday.
Okay.
Do y'all remember,
I don't think it's the time keeping people from being on the board.
No,
It would keep a working person from being on the board.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it would. I mean, if we're trying to get people on this board, you know, I could see a working person go, okay, well, I get off at, 3 o'clock in the
Right.
afternoon because I get in early. I could go to a 4 o'clock board meeting,
that's true.
Or, okay, before I go to work, my boss knows that I'm an hour to 2 hours in the morning and then I'm off to work. I mean, I think the pandemic brought a lot more flexible schedules where, I was just curious. We have been looking for additional board members for quite some time, and we have had zero luck. Well, not zero. We have
How many
that's-
people can be on the board altogether?
we need 2 more.
It's a
Two more?
7-member board.
7-member board.
We need zone 2 and we need zone 6.
2 and 6.
5. We have 5 right now, right?
We have 5, so we need 2 more.
We need 2 more.
What, area is
6 right now, right?
Zone 6?
Zone 6 is Paula Reed's,
Right now.
Paula Reed's zone, so it is kind of like around the Midtown
I
area.
think I may have someone in, one of my, church members. I wasn't sure what zone.
I'll email you a map of zone 2
Okay.
and zone 6, and maybe you, because
Okay.
Mr. Gentle was zone 2.
Zone 6, okay, yeah.
No,
I
he
think-
was zone 2.
No, 6. I think he was 6.
Was he 6? Why am I thinking 2?
I was just trying to figure out the area. Yeah, I think I may have one of my church members.
Yeah, zone 6 is Paula Reed, zone 2 is Ken Strickland. So I'll send you the map of both
Okay,
of
thank
those
you.
zones.
And just have them get in touch with you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'll direct him. If you can find somebody, I'll get them where they
I
need
will
to go.
touch base with them Sunday morning, yes, definitely, and, have them call you. Perfect.
then I guess, I don't know if it's a motion, that we move our meeting, maintain the same Thursday every month, and move it to a start time of 2:30, and try that for a quarter, 3 months, and then readdress it and see if everyone's happy with that, not happy, and it has done nothing to do any good. And then we could move it back to a 1 o'clock start time or whatever works.
That sounds like a motion, if somebody wanted to make it.
Second.
But somebody has to make the motion, I'm not allowed to.
You make the motion, sir.
I will then make a motion that we change on a temporary basis, the start times of these meetings on the third Thursday to 2:30 PM
For 3 months.
for 3 months,
Starting
with the next
No, starting
meeting.
January.
January,
Yeah,
January.
Give December a break.
okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Is there any other business to be addressed?
Did we get
Did we
a
have a
second?
second?
And a
Oh, I'm
vote.
sorry, did we-
I'll second that.
Roll call. I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Harshaw? Vote?
Yes, please.
Mr. Harshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Barhu?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Betts?
Yes.
Mr. Connors?
Yes. Now, is there any other business to come forward?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, yes.
Take a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second it.
Second.
Let's go.
Roll call?
We're adjourned.
Bye-bye.